today we're going to be talking about the $100 micro grant opportunity, and we're also going to talk briefly about fundraising as a newly established nonprofit organization. So I do have a challenge for you guys. I'm going to help you guys raise $1,000 within the next 30 to 40 days. So that is going to be a big portion of what we're discussing today, how we're going to get started, and then as a reward to the organizations who do great work, who commit to the process, I will give $100 out of my own pocket for the first 3 organizations to reach the fundraising goal. Of course, fundraising is going to help diversify your revenue. So a lot of us do focus on grant writing. That is for newly established organizations, especially organizations who are minority led or who come from individuals who come from an international background, underprivileged background. Typically, grant funding and foundations are a huge staple of our organization because we might not know the right people to give us a $10,000 donation right away. But as our organization grows, we tend to be able to network and connect with those individuals who do give charitably. So grant writing is typically a huge portion of the fundraising opportunities for newly established organizations. There are paid services that nonprofits can offer, and you can write this down because these are other ways that you can diversify your revenue. And I will do my best to try to cover a lot of these different revenue streams, as we go along, but it takes time. So a lot of the first year and a half we've been talking has really been grant readiness, and grant readiness falls right into fundraising preparedness, and then corporate sponsorships, corporate giving, major gifts. All of it falls into place when you are grant ready. So paid services are something that you can offer as a nonprofit organization. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you're offering it to your client, but let's say Girl Scouts of America, for example, it's not a paid service, but it's a product. They sell the Girl Scout cookies, but their mission is entrepreneurship in young women. So that is a paid service or good that you can earn revenue from, as an example, as long as it relates to your mission. Member dues. If you have a member style organization, obviously you can charge dues for the membership. Black Grandma's Union, I think it is. I worked with her maybe about a year and a half ago, but it has a membership organization that is consists of Black grandmas, and they all pay a member's due. It's like $25 a year, but a lot of their work is networking with each other across the United States, coming together. They do pictures together. I'm sure they do fundraisers, they do events, they do charitable work for the young entrepreneurs in their community. So that's an example of a membership organization. Event. Anytime your organization hosts an event, you can charge for someone to be invited to the event, or you can charge, you can ask for donations as part of the event. Merchandise, of course, many of you know of. Major gifts. So anything over $1,000 is considered a major gift if it is donated from an individual. So that is another revenue stream. Corporate giving, which is, we will, go into that later in one of our next challenges, but corporate giving would be anytime a corporation gives funding to a nonprofit. Sponsorships is when they receive something in return, like branding recognition. You might have went to an event where you've seen the different logos from the different companies that may have sponsored that nonprofit organization's event. Cause marketing. If you've ever been to, well, most of us have been to the grocery store, right? And they might say, hey, would you like to round up your receipt total to give a percentage of profits to a nonprofit organization? That is cause marketing. And then what we're talking about today, which is individual donations. So we're going to focus on a crowdfunding style of individual donations because this is going to be something that we're going to do aggressively, because I would like to start now, June 20th, and hopefully end by July 30th. So that's why we're going to take the crowdfunding route, but then the skills that you're applying and the skills that I will be working with you to develop within this crowdfunding, you should be able to do it every year as an annual campaign to raise money for your organization. We're going to start with a goal of $1,000 for 30 days, and then every year you should be able to increase that goal. Okay. Ways to show community support. So even though smaller organizations, you might sometimes hear people say that, a larger percentage of your organization's revenue should come from individual donations. Now, I wouldn't technically say that for a lot of the organizations that we work with. I do think that's a generalized statement. Excuse me, because again, we have a lot of people who, come from communities where they might not know someone who can write a $10,000 check right away. As your organization grows, you may start to have access to people and meet people and network with people who can write those large checks. But starting off, you might not have access to those people. So a lot of the founders in our community, I know that they can relate to that. So that's why we're going to take a different route than what would normally be brought up to you guys. Hey, Leah. See you in here. Hey, Kimmy. Okay. So that's how we're going to start off, is fundraising to help diversity in revenue, and then also showing community support. So again, I do agree that grant funding is going to be a substantial way to, sorry, I was checking my phone. I got an email. I think someone was trying to get on the live, but a substantial way to fund your organization will be through grant funding, but there are steps that you need to take in order to reach those funding goals. And I believe that this fundraising campaign that we're going to be working on together will help you get that first grant faster. Grantors, they actually want to see that you have community support. So if you have a pen and paper, write this down. So when we're talking about showing community support, grantors want to know that they're not the only foundation or organization or company that is going to be donating to your organization or sponsoring your program. They would make sure organizations stand out, along with a lot of the other things that we've been discussing, is showing that you have support from your community. That can look like board member representation. If you have a diverse board that represents many segments of the community, or if you have board members who represent the segments of the community that you support. So board members who can identify with the individuals that you're serving. So if you're serving domestic violence victims, having board members who have experienced domestic violence shows that you have community support. Volunteer involvement, if you can get volunteers involved. A thorough needs statement. So we always talk about serving the community and really identifying the needs of the community. If you're able to show that you have thoroughly surveyed your community and you're able to put together a needs statement, then that is a way to show that you have community support because people are participating in those surveys. And financial sustainability, so partnerships. If you have companies, corporations who are donating office space, goods, services, if you have an accountant in your community who's donating services, all that shows that you have a community who supports you. Corporate sponsor, that makes you feel, okay, so I'm more willing to give, or I'm more willing to get involved because I see that they have other corporations who are getting involved. Or if you see a bunch of people in the comment section raving about that organization, or raving about the founder and how hard they work, or how the results have come through for their children, if their children are the ones who are benefiting from the organization. All that comes into showing community support, but funders see the same thing. So if they see that you have other partners who are willing to donate office space and goods and services, even if you could have afforded that on your own, it looks good on your part because it shows that you have done something to prove that you are doing great work in the community. Okay, so another way to show community support is through fundraising. I mean, what better way to show that you have community support than to show that you have raised money from your community? So what we're going to do with fundraising is, again, we're going to start with a goal of $1,000 within the next 30 to 40 days. So by July 30th, we're going to select a specific goal for your organization. So I want you to start thinking about what goal your organization needs to accomplish. So an example would be, for example, we are raising $1,000. It should be a SMART goal, so it should be measurable, attainable, specific. We are raising $1,000 to provide 5 safe nights of shelter for 10 domestic violence victims. So that is a specific goal that we would be working within the next 40 days to raise funding for. And it may not be that your organization is directly providing that shelter. However, it may be that, again, partnerships is a great way to show community support. If you're partnering with an organization, and these are real numbers, these are numbers that I grabbed from Voices of Color. If you're showing partnership with an organization that provides shelter for domestic violence victims, and you're also partnering with them to raise money to provide your clients that come to you asking for help with shelter, giving that money to the organization who needs it, then you are then showing that you have community support and you're giving a specific goal that you're asking your community to help you raise money for. And finally, outcomes. So this is the biggest one for me. This is why I feel like it's so important for us to do this now, is because I found that a lot of our newly established organizations are not able to compete for grant funding because they don't have any outcomes. And when I say outcomes, you need to be able to show that you've done work in the community, but a lot of us have been doing it out of pocket. So you've been doing work out of pocket, basically paying your own money to do the work in the community. So that is costing you. And then in addition to that, you're trying to show the grantor, okay, this is what I was able to do with the money that came out of my pocket, but you're not writing down, okay, these are the specific outcomes I have achieved, so the goals I have accomplished with this certain amount of money that I use out of pocket. So what we really want to do is, instead of taking that route, which a lot of founders do, or in addition to taking that route, we want to start with a goal of $1,000 raised from the community. So again, that's showing a diversity in revenue, and it's showing that you have community support, in addition to showing, hey, with $1,000, we were able to help 10 second chance students obtain their GED and build the skills necessary to enter and maintain employment. So then you're telling a grantor, instead of telling a grantor, hey, give me $5,000 because I know that I can help a certain amount of students, you're then saying, listen, with $1,000 from the community, we were able to help 10 students. Now, if you give me 5,000, we can help 50 students, or you may even be able to, if you're helping students in bulk, maybe 60 or 70 students. And you have data to back that outcome up, showing the work that you've done in the community. So that is why I feel, I don't think that fundraising substitutes grant writing, but I think it can truly help in your efforts to show that you have support in the community. To be able to fundraise is a skill in itself, to be able to tell your story, to be able to get other people excited about your organization. That's a skill that we want to work on together. And again, this is completely free. So this entire challenge I'm doing for free for anyone who wants to participate. And just in a few minutes, I'm going to tell you how to get involved. Okay, so that is why we're going to be doing the fundraising challenge. So please drop any questions that you have while I'm talking. Okay. And again, I don't want anyone to be fearful of this, because I think a lot of times with nonprofit fundraising, again, especially people who are individuals who are minorities, or you come from an underprivileged background, or you are from an international background, you may think that people don't give, but they do give. You'll probably just notice that they give to like a church, or they give to a temple. And the reason is because they see that the work is being done in the community, and they have deep trust in those institutions. So your parents and your grandparents gave to those institutions. Their parents and grandparents gave to those institutions. So, especially minorities, a lot of people, not just one specific race or one specific income level or sexual orientation or whatever, not just one specific type of person gives. It's just a matter of building that trust. Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about, is building a trust, how to ask for money, because a lot of times asking for money can be a bit taboo. So we're going to talk about how to do that. I'm a big fan. If you've ever seen me advertise anything or talk about my programs, I'm not the type of person who's going to give a fluff speech. I'm not going to sound like a car salesman. Like, that's just not me and that's not my style. So I probably will relate to a lot of other people who don't like to sound like they're a car salesman when they're talking about their nonprofit organization. When I'm talking about the services I offer, I'd rather be transparent. I'd rather give the benefit of what I'm offering, and then those who are interested in participating can choose to do so. So, how to be human and how to talk to people without always trying to sell, like those weird sales scripts that you might see on Google. So, we're going to work around that, okay? And we're going to help you navigate these challenges with this June and July fundraising challenge. All right, so how to get started. This is going to be from June 20th to July 30th. What you're going to do, you need to be a member of the Academy, the Learning Academy, and you can just be a member of the free community portion. You don't have to be a member of the paid community portion for this. So you just need to go to the Academy, make sure you're enrolled. And the reason being is that once you log in, you can see in the menu section, there will be something that says topics. And under topics, you just click it and it will say June Fundraising Challenge and click follow. So that means that I'm not sending emails to people who aren't interested in participating this month. Only if you have clicked the follow button, then I'll make sure that you get a notification every day. So I'm not going to give you a huge major task every day because I know we're all busy. But every day, and probably every 2 or 3 days, you will get a major task to accomplish, like, hey, make a video. And this is exactly what I want you to say, telling your story. That's an example of something we might do together. And then we all check back in the next day and share progress with the video, things that we may have felt like we need to do better and things of that nature. So we'll all be able to communicate and comment under that topic. So the Academy is the best way to do that. So make sure that you, again, join the Academy using the link, and it should be the free enrollment. And you just go to the topic section and follow the June Fundraising Challenge. Every day you will receive a tip, a resource, or a tool that assists you towards achieving your $1,000 goal. And then the first 3 organizations to reach $1,000 will receive a check for an extra $100 in the mail. So I will give you $100 out of my own pocket just because you participated in the challenge and you put your best foot forward. So the first 3 organizations to reach their $1,000. And again, I will be walking you through this step by step. I will tell you exactly what to do, what to say to people, how to say it. I'll give you a template. You can rearrange it in a way that works for you. It's not going to be salesy. It's going to be professional, personable, and it's going to tell your story as an organization. Okay? You can download the app, the Learning Academy app, or you can just check your email. I would recommend the app because it's called Mighty Networks is the app. You would have to search for the Learning Academy, Nonprofit for Newbies Learning Academy in the app. Or I think when you enroll, it should prompt you to download the app. So either way, you can log in the app and see, what other questions people are asking. And then you will also be able to check your email if you don't constantly log into the app. You'll still get emails. Okay, so I'm going to answer questions in a minute. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you guys. We will do a check-in. So we're going to do a check-in July 12th, and then we'll do the final winner on July 30th. Okay. So let's see. Questions. Can a community service organization participate? Or can I participate? Amanda said, can I participate even though the state hasn't accepted my nonprofit yet? Excuse me, I sent paperwork but waiting on the state. Okay, yeah, so I would like that the organization who's participating to be registered in the state at a minimum, because it just gives me the ability to know that I'm donating to an organization that has at least registered as a nonprofit. So you should have your state paperwork. You don't have to have 501c3 status. And this is just for the micro grant. So you don't have to have anything in order to participate in the fundraising challenge. You can still have the information and resources. But for the micro grant, for me to send the check to a business, I just need a registered business. Okay. And Miss Paula, the replay will be posted. I will pin it as soon as I end this live. I will pin it for you guys. Okay. So yeah, that's it. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be either using Facebook donation link, so you can use your Facebook page, you can use Instagram donation link, or you can use DonorBox. And if you're using DonorBox, I'll send you a link so that you know exactly what resource to use in DonorBox. Well, you'll see it in the Academy under the June fundraising event, okay? So again, Facebook, Instagram, or DonorBox, it should be one of the donation links where it shows you a bar and then a status towards the progression of the goal. That's how we're going to base all of our fundraising efforts, and how I'm going to show you how to communicate with your friends, your family, your network. That's how we're going to do that. So that's the specific type of donation link that you should have. Do we have any other questions? And if you're waiting on your state paperwork, I just need you to have your paperwork by the time, like by July 30th. So most states, it only takes a week or two. You can even expedite it if you really wanted to for an extra fee. So if you are just starting out, this might just be the push you need to go ahead and get incorporated with your state. The 501c3 status is the most expensive portion, so I'm not expecting that of you guys. Hopefully with the crowdfunding, it might help you save up towards that 501c3 status as well. So go ahead and at least, make sure that you're incorporated in your state. You don't have to have 501c3 status. Okay, so one more question. So how can I share the link to my board? Oh, it's going fast. So how can I share the link to my board member to post in their IG? Okay, so Miss Chris. So as far as the link on IG, once you post the link in your bio on Instagram, it will actually give you the option to invite a board member or invite someone to also participate in the fundraising. Okay. All right. It looks like we have a lot of ladies today, which is normal. So, all right, ladies, I'm going to end it at this. I will, again, make sure you join the Academy. I will post this live to the Academy June Challenge section. And, oh, Amanda, you're in New York. Okay, don't worry. I understand. I know they take like 3 months unless you expedite. So that I knew, because when you said June 6th, I'm like, she should have been approved already. So it's not an issue. I just need to know that the money goes towards something charitable. That's all. So that's not an issue. I will see you guys later. So I'm going to start posting as soon as tomorrow with the first steps in the fundraising challenge. And I will tonight post some preliminary steps that you can start taking so that you are prepared to ask for donations. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will talk to you soon.